Jai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Paramahamsa Parivar, Sakacharya Ashtodhara Srimad Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Shad Goswami ki, Karantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai Gaur Premanande. Glory to the Samati devotees, all glory to the Samati devotees, all glory to the Samati devotees, all glory to Shri Guru, Shri Gaurang. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. A reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 15th chapter, text 22. Vabhishu vidumam tata vavalam mitapsu. Krishnan vitani chapane tulasi virisha. Abhyajati swalakam unasamiksha vakram. Uchcheshitam bhagavate yamatanga yachri. Vabhishu vidumatatas Pamalam mitapsu. Krishnan vitani ajavane tulasi virisham. Avyajati swalakam munasam ikshavakram. Uchcheshitam bhagavate Jatyamatanga yachri. Vitani javane tinasi virisham. Avyajati swalakam ikshavakram. Uchcheshitam bhagavate Jatyamatanga yachri. Sada pitani ajavane tulasi virisham. Yajati swalakamuna samikshadvakram. Jeshidam bhagavate yamatanga yachri. Vaishnavi. Vabhishu, in the ponds, Vidruma, made of coral, Tatasu, banks. Amala, transparent. Amrita, nectarian. Apsu, water. Purisha Anvita, surrounded by maidservants. Nijavane, in her own garden. Tulasi be with Tulasi. Isham, the Supreme Lord. Abhyojati, worship. Su Alakam, with her face decorated with tila. Uchchashitam, being kissed. Bhagavata, by the Supreme Lord. Iti, thus. Amata, thought. Anga, O demigods. Yat Shri, whose beauty. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The goddesses of fortune worship the Lord in their own gardens by offering tulasi leaves on the coral-paved banks of the transcendental reservoirs of water. While offering worship to the Lord, they can see on the water the reflection of their beautiful faces with raised noses. And it appears that they have become more beautiful because of the Lord's kissing their faces. Everyone can please repeat. The goddesses of fortune worship the Lord in their own gardens by offering tulasi leaves on the coral-paved banks of transcendental reservoirs of water. While offering worship to the Lord, they can see on the water the reflection of their beautiful faces with raised noses. And it appears that they have become more beautiful because of the Lord's kissing their faces. Purport. Generally, when a woman is kissed by her husband, her face becomes more beautiful. In Vaikuntha also, although the goddess of fortune is naturally as beautiful as can be imagined, she nevertheless awaits the kissing of the Lord to make her face more beautiful. The beautiful face of the goddess of fortune appears in ponds of transcendental crystal waters when she worships the Lord with tulsi leaves in her garden.
दक्षिणाम अपने विज्ञानों में दिव्य जलाशयों के दिव्य से जले नामक पर तुलसी का भगवान की पूजा करते हैं। भगवान की पूजा करते समय एक बड़ी बड़ी आंखों से देखते अपने अपने सुंदर रूपों से फूलों के प्रतिबिंब को जरूर दिखते हैं। और ऐसा व्यक्ति होता है मानो भगवान द्वारा छोटी फूलों से एक और सुंदर बनते हैं। सामान्यतया जब का प्रति उसका चुनाव अनेक सुंदर है लेकिन लक्ष्मी जी तो 30 हैं जिनकी कल्पना की जा सकती है तो भी वे भगवान द्वारा चुनित जिससे उनका मुख और अधिक सुंदर है। जब लक्ष्मी जी अपने ज्ञान में तुलसी दलों से भगवान की पूजा करते हैं
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Vayam Rupakada Mahya Tadati Swaparantikam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare. So the previous verse spoke about service to the Lord, and this verse speaks about archana to the Lord.
This is your will. It's not a one way. Seva Krishna. This is a one way.
So, who it speaks in this verse, Srila Prabhupada refers to thousands of maidservants. So, who are these maidservants? Are they imported from material world? Somebody who just does work? No, they are the wives of the devotees of Vaikuntha. The wives of the devotees of Vaikuntha, they assist the queens, the Lakshmis, in serving the Lord in various ways. So in the spiritual world, just as the Lord expands unlimitedly into different incarnations, different expansions, also the goddess of fortune does the same. So the devotees always want, just like the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, they always want to engage in the service of Radha and Krishna. So the devotees of Lord Narayan, they want to engage in the service of Lakshmi Narayan. Everything is a reflection of Goloka Vrindavan. Ayodhya and Vaikuntha are separate manifestations to increase the Lord's rasa. And some of the manifestations of Narayan are for the purpose, not just rasa, but teaching tattva. Here, because the goddess of fortune has different aspects, so the devotees are serving her. Just like you go to South India temple, they have Bhu Devi, Neela Devi, so many manifestations of the goddess of fortune. Just like we have, well, not here yet, but we have Radha Krishna and Lalita Vishaka. The Lord shows his expansion in the form of Gornitai or Panchatattva or Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. So the goddess of fortune, or Radharani, the original goddess of fortune, also has her expansion. So it says in the previous verse, just for a reference, that the goddess of fortune is, she has in her hand a lotus flower, and it appears like she's sweeping. But there's no need to sweep in Vaikuntha because everything is made of chintamani. There's no dust storm. There may be chintamani dust that comes from the lotus feet of the Lord when he walks and showers upon the heads of devotees. That dust you don't want to sweep away, you want to sweep this way. So here we can see how fortunate these goddesses of fortune are, that they can serve the Lord directly, because in Vaikuntha it's not very easy to serve the Lord directly. Although generally, Lakshmi does not do some labor service, she's also willing to do so. Especially if Krishna says, or Lord Narayan says, that I'm going to come to your chambers, then she will clean it. Just like it's stated in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, that when Krishna would come to the palace of Rukmini or other queens, they would personally clean and arrange everything. Even though they had maidservants and help, they wanted to do it because it's for Krishna. Just like we do the same thing. We make tasteful arrangements for the Lord and the spiritual master. This is what Srinivasacharya says in 2 verses of his Goswam Astaka. He says that the Lord comes and everyone is engaged in service. The Lord, the goddess of fortune, will be engaged, generally speaking, in cooking something, preparing something for the Lord's pleasure, fanning the Lord, etc. And the wives of the devotees, they will be engaged in cleaning or whatever else is necessary. They bring fruits or flowers. In Goloka Vrindavan, there's no need to bring fruits or flowers, because every tree is Kalpavriksha. It gives whatever Srila Prabhupada says. The understanding of Kalpavriksha is it gives whatever you want. You say, I want some apples, some mangoes. You don't have to go to the shop. They just come from the Kalpavriksha. You want a certain type of flowers, and then they're available immediately. Just like at the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srivas had a Kalpavriksha tree in his garden. And all the devotees would come to his garden and they would get different types of flowers from that tree, unlimited. As soon as you took a flower, another one would appear. We could use one of those trees here. That'd be very handy. So it says here that the goddess of fortune is very beautiful. It also mentions in the previous verse that they're very beautiful. And as she is walking through the passageway in the previous verse, it says she's holding a lotus flower. It looks like a broom that she's sweeping. Or that she may have some kind of brush in her hand and she's dusting. But these are all memories from the material world. Just like in Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna always has 16 years old. He's always 16 years old. But there's a remembrance of Krishna in the material world that Mother Yashoda remembers, and she actually, just as Krishna is a little baby, she's bathing him, but it's all done through meditation in Goloka Vrindavan. Actually, she may be actually doing the bathing, but there's no baby Krishna. And therefore, Sanatana Goswami, he had a different opinion from Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami says the sweetest is in Goloka Vrindavan. And Sanatana Goswami said, no, the sweetest is Bhauma Vrindavan, because there Krishna has his childhood pastime. So from this, we may learn a very valuable lesson. Sometimes devotees have different ideas, the best way to dress the Lord, the best way to do this, the best way to cook, and they have some conflict. Temple should be in this part of the city, no, it should be in that part of the city. But we can understand these disagreements even happen between Rupa and Sanatana. And they indicate that Krishna is so great that he can accept our service in so many different ways. There is actually no conflict.
ऐसा तो मतभेद इस बीच वस्तु होती है।
The conflict is in our mind.
मतभेद
The conflict is coming from ahankara,
है जो मतभेद है वो हमारे पास होते हैं।
thinking that I know best.
इसलिए सोचते हैं कि
But a devotee knows that a devotee is convinced that Krishna knows best.
भक्त होते हैं पर हमसे भगवान सबसे अच्छा है।
But whatever Krishna says, different devotees will be stimulated in different ways.
जो भगवान कहते हैं कि जो भगवान कहते हैं तो भी माध्यम से वो बदल से
Just like there may be pure devotees with uh, with Shudra nature. There may be pure devotees with a Shudra nature. So they will think the only way to serve Krishna is do hard work for Krishna. And pure devotees of Vaishya nature, they will think that if they're still not completely pure, but they're very dedicated, they will think, no, we should make money for Krishna. Even Srila Prabhupada thought that. And Kshatriya devotees, we fight for Krishna like the Pandit and Hanuman. And Brahman devotees, no, we should meditate on Krishna. So they may disagree when they're on the same plane. But because they're pure-hearted, then they can see that Krishna is accommodating everyone. Krishna wants to make everyone feel comfortable. So another point here is that they see their reflection and they think that I am very beautiful. But this has nothing to do with like material competition of beauty, Miss Universe or something. It means that because it says here, they think they're more beautiful because they were kissed by the lips of the Supreme Personality of God. So that has two meanings. One is that previously, the night before, or the day before, or the morning, they were kissed by Krishna, and therefore they're remembering how wonderful his kiss is. So they actually change their appearance so that they will be more attractive for Krishna, for Vishnu. But another meaning is that when they look in the reflection, there are blue lotuses, and they see that as Krishna, and he's kissing their reflection. I think now my reflection has become beautiful. Otherwise, I'm not so beautiful. But whatever beauty I have, it's only for serving Krishna. So this is how devotees think. They see Krishna's intervention, Krishna's participation everywhere. They have no separate interest in anything in this world except for pleasing Krishna. So this is just like we have Bhagavad Gita, the first two cantos of the Bhagavatam, they're mostly philosophy. So these literatures are establishing the the tattva, the greatness of the Lord by showing his opulence, his power, and his intelligence. Just like two verses before, it shows the beauty of Vaikuntha, beautiful gardens, everything is golden, there's no metal rusting away like we have everywhere around us.
So those लोग पहले वर्णन किया गया है कि कुछ लोग ऐसा है वहाँ पर सभी कुछ स्वर्ण से बना है वहाँ पर ऐसा जो हमारे पास जो मेटल है बस सब कुछ स्वर्ण से बना है.
So that his tattva is showing his opulences, either in the gardens, his own beauty, the beauty of his devotees.
यहाँ पर बताया जा रहा है कि भगवान अपने ऐश्वर्य को बताते हैं जल में परछाई देख करके
just like Srila Prabhupada said that the beauty of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so great that he himself becomes enamored by his beauty. When Krishna was in Dwarka in the spiritual world, he saw a reflection of himself in a pond and on a pillar. And he said, I'm so beautiful. But people are worshiping me with too much awe and reverence. Therefore, let me go to the material world and show them the opulence of my sweetness. I will take the whole Goloka Vrindavan and plant it in the material world. Just like here in India, there are embassies from different countries around the world, and vice versa, embassy of India and some other country. So when you're in that embassy, they say that you're actually in your country. So Vrindavan is the embassy of Krishna. And here also, this is like a manifestation of Govardhan. Maybe not the whole city, but at least where Nachi is. And actually, Advaitacharya, he said, "My Lord, wherever you are, that is Vrindavan." Because when Lord Nityananda tricked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and made him think that the Ganga was the Yamuna, he thought Yamuna and he jumped in the water to bathe in the waters of the Yamuna. And then as he was in the water, he saw Advaitacharya coming on a boat. And he said, Advaita, what are you doing in Vrindavan? There were no helicopters or airplanes. How could he have gone ahead? No. But Chaitanya was much bigger. He had bigger stride, so Advaita could not, he was older and shorter. He could not have gone ahead. Lord Chaitanya was over 2 meters high. And so Advaita, he said, he looked at Nityananda, he said, something's wrong here. You have tricked me. This is the Ganga. And Advaita said, no, actually, because the Yamuna comes from the west and the Ganga comes from the east, and you are on the western bank, so actually you're in the Yamuna. And so then he said, but my Lord, wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. So here we have Lord Chaitanya on the altar. And therefore, this is Vrindavan. And if we have deities of Gornitai in our house, then our house becomes like Vrindavan. And if we have the Lord in our heart, and we're remembering that this is Krishna, we're not just responding to the function of Paramatma, but we see Krishna within our heart. Of course, Krishna is always there, but when we ignore him, he takes the form of Paramatma and he just maintains. But Vishtakarnarandraina Swanam Bhavam Saroruham. When we hear about Krishna and also Bhavanti Vitkarna Rasayana Kata, then he enters into the ear holes and comes into the heart. Rupa Goswami said that the holy name is so wonderful. Tunde Tandavali. Tim, he said that the holy name is so wonderful, I need thousands of mouths to be able to chant it properly. To be able to taste the nectar. And hearing the holy name is so nectarian that I need at least 10 million ears. Now, someone would look very funny with 10 million ears. But he's saying, I need that. You need that much to capture the nectar of the holy name. And the holy name is so powerful that it enters into the courtyard of the heart and begins to dance. And he neutralizes all the activities of the material senses and spiritualizes them. And therefore he says, Na jane janita kiad bir amritai Krishna Barnadvai. How who can understand how much nectar there is in these two syllables, Krishna?
कौन समझ सकता है कि जो दो अक्षर हैं कृष्णा इसमें कितना ज्यादा अमृत.
And therefore, if we're chanting properly, we will actually, our body will become like Vrindavan, and our mind, the heart will be and the heart and the mind will be the temple of the holy name who is situated there, and the jiva will be offering service to the Lord in that beautiful form.
जब हम भगवान के नाम का जप करते हैं नाम सुनते हैं उस नाम को सुनने से हमारा हृदय बदलेगा भगवान की जो सेवा है उसको
So this is what we should. This is what we should pray for when we chant the holy name.
ये हमारी मनोकामना होनी चाहिए.
Because with that purified consciousness, we can serve Krishna properly. Just like the goddess of fortune is serving the Lord properly. Because of her purity and her total dedication and her surrender, she's having this vision of and this thought of Krishna kissing, not Krishna, Vishnu kissing her and making her more beautiful. Because it says, just like Satyavata Muni, he says, Lasat kundalam ukule brajamana. Lasat kundalam. The earrings of Krishna are dancing from his ears and kissing his cheeks. And the gopis are thinking, what have these earrings done to get such great fortune? Only very rarely are we able to kiss Krishna's cheek. And the flute is kissing Krishna's lips and getting nectar from his lips. What bamboos have received such great fortune to have sons like these flutes? And Uddhava, he says, Param Param Bhushanam Bhushanangam, that actually the Lord beautifies his ornaments. We use ornaments, cosmetics, etc., try to be a little more beautiful. No. But the Lord makes his ornaments beautiful. So here, the goddesses of fortune are becoming more beautiful by the kisses of the Supreme Personality of God. And we become more beautiful because wanting to do more service of Krishna when we are in touch with his Chit Shakti. And that Chit Shakti is manifesting through the Sankirtan movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the chanting of the holy name. And by serving the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we become so beautiful that we become eligible to enter into Goloka Vrindavan. So these are some thoughts on this particular verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll stop here. Are there any questions or comments? Yes. How should you what? Well, you experience chanting, or you get more benefit or more bliss from chanting by the association with the Vaishnavas, Kirtan. And also by chanting japa very seriously, by remembering Abhinatvam Namanamino, there's no difference between the holy name and Krishna. Just like when the curtain opens and there's Jagannath, it's not that we'll be talking on our cell phone and say, "Oh, Jagannath, I have to finish this conversation." We immediately bow down. We know here's the Lord. He is very mercifully appearing for us. I often make a point. Why does Jagannath have to be in this little house? He has a big temple in Puri. But he has expanded himself to come here for our benefit. So also, what does the holy name of Krishna have to do in Udaipur or Moscow or somewhere else? It's only to benefit the devotee. Krishna says in the beginning of the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Vakshami Hitakam Yaya. The only reason I'm speaking is for your benefit. Otherwise, I could be speaking with the gopis or the cowherd boy. I don't have to speak philosophy to them. I make some joke or some comment to increase their rasa. So Krishna has come to us in the form of the holy name, just to bless us. So we should accept his blessing. Right. Another question? Yes. Yes. They're meant for Krishna. But this material in the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Kamshitam Karnamsi. Isn't it here? In this material, people they have material desires, therefore I have given them the facility for going to the rivers. So my question is, Krishna says, Mame Kamshi Chivanapur Chivanapur. We are part and parcel of Krishna. But what is the difference to those devotees
and we are always the people used to be quiet. What is that thing make the difference? Yes. So Bhagavad Gita में once Krishna चौथा अध्याय में कहते हैं कामना परिणाम इस संसार में जो चीज आए हैं उनके हृदय में कामना है और उस कामनाओं को पूरी करने के लिए भगवान के देवताओं की आराधना करने के लिए प्रोत्साहित करते हैं। क्या प्रश्न है कि इस संसार के लोग भी भगवान के अंश हैं और वो भी भगवान की अंश है, तो ऐसा क्या चीज है जो दोनों डिफरेंस क्रिएट करता है?
The difference is that the devotees in the spiritual world are nitya siddha. They are eternally perfect. They never fall down.
तो छोटा सा यही है कि जो आध्यात्मिक संसार के नित्य सिद्ध है, कभी भी उनके इस तरह से पतन नहीं होता।
They have no conditioning.
उनका किसी प्रकार की बद्धता नहीं होती।
Well, they do have conditioning. They're conditioned by yoga mind.
उनके पास है कंडीशन या शब्द है जो माया के द्वारा।
So the devotees here, well, there may not be a difference. Someone like Srila Prabhupada or Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur or Rupa Goswami.
यहाँ पर भी जैसे बात है कि भगवान जी ने इनमें और उन भक्तों को अंदर नहीं।
But the difference is even Rupa Goswami, who is Rupa Manjari, or even Mahaprabhu, they were doing sadhana bhakti.
इस संसार में स्वामी है चैतन्य महाप्रभु संसार में रहते हैं विधि से डेवलप संसार में रहते हैं साधन भक्ति को बहुत जरूरी है।
There's no need for sadhana bhakti in Vaikuntha and in Goloka Vrindavan. They just appear to be doing it. They appear to be doing some type of sadhana. But their sadhana is to directly fan the Lord, and give him pleasure and feel unlimited bliss. Our sadhana is to learn by fanning the Lord, to learn how to feel that pleasure. So that's the difference. Yes, Mataji. Maybe you can use the microphone. Pass it over. Okay. Because of her. Oh, well, I'm glad I could do some service. No. But actually, the purification coming from Bhagavatam and Srila Prabhupada. I'm just like the microphone, just going through the wire.
Yes, she has 3 questions.
3 questions. Okay.
Maharaj is asking that you mentioned he said that in next to our house we have permission. So if we go to that confirmation, ask something, so that confirmation has that.
Well, if it's Kalpavriksha, if it's really Kalpavriksha, And as soon as you could take all the flowers off, and immediately, even before you finished, all the flowers would be there.
अगर वो कैलकुलेशन है आप जैसे ही कैलकुलेशन में थोड़े यहाँ पर आपको प्रॉब्लम से तुरंत ही नया खुला
So maybe it's a reflection of a corporation.
चाहे वो कैलकुलेशन अच्छा recognition of nature of have nature of related on the law and you will have nature of software a use success fights of words. So similarly, the mentioned devotees they have the tendency to collect money. She's asking that is it possible that a devotee have four of these qualities?
Yes, if one is a pure devotee, then one can do any service of any varna or any ashram.
जब किसी तरह होते हैं उनकी जो कोई बंधन नहीं है वो चारों तरीके से भगवान की सेवा कर सकते हैं किसी भी तरीके से नहीं कर सकते।
Just like Srila Prabhupada, when he was teaching the devotees in New York, he would clean the floor.
जैसे प्रभुपाद जी न्यूयॉर्क के अपने भक्तों को शिक्षा देते थे प्रभुपाद जी खुद सभी को पूछा
And then he would sit and do kirtan and give lecture.
प्रभुपाद जी बैठ करके क्लास और लेक्चर करते थे
Prabhupada would manage the temple and be the treasurer also.
प्रभुपाद जी टेंपल से मैनेज भी करते थे अकाउंट्स भी
So depending on the depth of one's Krishna consciousness, we can easily perform the functions of other varnas and other ashrams.
इसके निर्भर करता है कि कृष्ण भावना आप कितने ज्यादा हैं उसके निर्भर करता है अगर जितना अधिक कृष्ण भावना वाले वो उतने ही ज्यादा अलग अलग प्रकार की सेवाओं को करते हैं इस लास्ट
Rupa Goswami says, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe, that we increase our attachment to Krishna. We decrease our attachment to the material world by increasing our attachment to Krishna.
इतना ज्यादा हम उतना ज्यादा भगवान प्रयास करेंगे भगवान के पास
He's going to just a microphone so I can hear properly.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, we said that in this world, the whole Vrindavan embassy is also manifested in this material world. But my question is that in material world, fault finding there in material world. Which is called devotees find fault in each other, or in this material world we see some fault finding. So how should we मतलब हम कैसे इस संसार में जैसे ये कौन है ये वृंदावन का पाठ तो हम कैसे में डील करें दूसरों का दोष ना दें हाउ वी
Everything is coming from the spiritual world. No.
क्वेश्चन ऐसा है कि जैसे गोलोक वृंदावन में जो वृंदावन का इंडस्ट्री यहाँ पर क्या और भौतिक संसार में जैसे जनरली हम दूसरों क्या आध्यात्मिक संसार में देखते हैं तो दूसरों में गलतियां देखते हैं
So everything is coming from the spiritual world.
सब कुछ जो है आध्यात्मिक जगत से ही आ रहा है
Even fault finding.
और क्या
Kutila, Jatila, they're always finding faults with Radharani. But this increases the bliss of Krishna and Radha and them also. So, but when we do it here, we also feel happiness. But then that happiness will turn into misery. And there's also misery in the spiritual world. But there it produces bliss. So we can't even understand that. It's like sometimes Radharani becomes very angry with Krishna. And it increases the intensity of her meditation on Krishna. But when we become angry, it decreases everything. Oh. Krishna says, Vidyanami Havayarinam, it becomes our worst enemy.
Maharaj, the translation of this sloka is saying that they have become more beautiful because of the Lord's kissing their face. So Maharaj, is Madhurya Rasa also there in Vaikuntha?
Madhurya Ras? Yes. Yes, but only between Vishnu and the goddess of fortune.
So, प्रश्न है यहाँ पर भगवान विष्णु है तो हमारे सब विष्णु क्या माधुर्य दृष्टि बहुत लोग में तुम्हारा
Yes, because there is, but only between Narayan and Lakshmi. There is no Madhurya Ras between Narayan and the wives of his devotees. And between the devotees and their wives, there's a reflection of Madhurya Ras. They think, they may think that, oh yes, I have this wife and we have an intimate relationship, but it never happened. As Srila Prabhupada confirms here, the wives all go to help Lakshmi in serving the Lord, and also the male devotees, they go and serve the Lord in different ways. So there is Madhurya Ras. And in Ayodhya, the Madhurya Ras is more present. And of course, in Goloka Vrindavan, it is the main rasa. Right. Okay, we take one more and then we'll stop. Okay.
Somehow intending to bhakti. So what is understand? My intending to bhakti, my blessing of God, I have past karma or mercy of devotees. And my second question.
Well, let me just do one question at a time. You can say that one in Hindi. Say that, you can just keep the mic. You can say it.
मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है हम किसी तरह से भक्ति में जो आ गए तो उसे हमें किसी तरह समझना चाहिए हमारे पास करने के लिए हम भक्ति में आए किसी भक्त ने आपके ऊपर कृपा की इसलिए हम भक्ति में आए या तो भगवान का ऐसे हमको किसी तरह से मिल गया
Rupa Goswami says that if one is engaged in constant or ongoing devotional service, it's because we have performed some service in previous lifetime.
Swami कहते हैं कि अगर हम कोई भक्ति कार्यकलाप को कर रहे हैं तो हम इसलिए कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हमें पिछले जन्मों में पुण्य प्राप्त हुई
But a devotee doesn't think like that.
है भक्ति को जैसे नहीं सोचते
When Prabhupada was reading Nectar Devotion in Vrindavan, one devotee heard that and he said, "So Prabhupada, are we devotees or demigods in our past lives?"
तो पर वो नेटवर्क रिलेशन आप पिछले जन्म में जरूर देखा थे
And Prabhupada said, "No, it is only by the mercy of Mahaprabhu." That's how we should think. Know that I am a fool and only Krishna's mercy is saving me. Okay, now your second question.
For us, it's come to the each of your devotees right now, our stage. So, by doing bhakti, we keep our offenses, we keep our material attachment. So, after coming bhakti, I will be more because after coming bhakti, I keep my material, still keep my material attachments. And my cultivation is related to this also. By some master devotee, I came into bhakti, and I still keep my offenses. So that devotee who inspired me to come into bhakti, he will suffer because of my offenses. मेरे दो क्वेश्चन है कि हम किसी तरह भक्ति में आने के बाद हमारा मटेरियल अटैचमेंट क्योंकि हमारी पूरा नहीं होता मटेरियल अटैचमेंट रखते हैं तो भक्ति करते समय भी हमारा बहुत ज्यादा बन के एक हो जाएगी कि भक्ति के साथ हमें ऑफेंसेस भी करे और जो इस तरह के जो भक्तों में भक्ति में हाथ है मेरे मन के ऑफेंसेस की वजह से क्या तो भी सफर करना पड़ेगा वो भक्ति करना
You can just translate it yourself. You can keep the microphone. Okay. One time they asked Srila Prabhupada, because the temple president is recommending someone to you if they perform some inappropriate activity, does the temple president get some of the karma? And Prabhupada said, why some? Should get all. Then they'll be more careful. So we should think like that. That I don't want to get the results of their activities, and therefore I must do things very carefully. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, if you engage someone in hearing the intimate activities of the Lord prematurely, then it is the ninth offense against the holy name. So if we try to bring someone who is not prepared into in more intense levels of bhakti, they may not be able to perform properly. And then we're responsible because we did not use proper discrimination. Prabhupada said, first let people experience the happiness of chanting, then they can learn the rules and regulations. So maybe we can do the third one separately, so everyone can, they have service to do, and it's getting late. Hmm? Yeah, I'll speak to them first. So thank you all very much for your kind attention and for giving me this opportunity to get your association. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.